Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my glass studio. In this video, I'd like to show you how to take these beautiful pieces of sheet glass, these twisted cane and these murini, put them all together to make a sweet and tangy lemon tray. These lemon trays are a great example of taking a single idea, a single theme, and repeating it multiple times with different backgrounds and different sizes and shapes to get a really cool combination and collection of pieces. When I start a project, I generally start with whatever the subject matter is that excites me most. So in this case, I really wanted to cut those lemons out because it made me feel like I was making a lot of progress, and I was excited about cutting those and then piecing them back together to get that nice cluster of fruit there in the middle of the plate. I'm using a pattern as a guide. I've glued it to the glass with a glue stick. Then I go around the paper as close as I can with my handheld cutter. I use my running pliers to remove the bigger pieces, then my grazing pliers to remove the smaller pieces. I try to get as close to that paper and as accurate as I can while I'm cutting to minimize the amount of time I have to spend at the grinder, because this project does represent quite a few pieces. I selected a bright yellow for the lemons and this pretty soft, kind of medium green. Both of these are opals for the leaves. I chose opal because the background is a transparent dark blue, and I thought these would show up really nicely on that field. Now I'm going to take the pieces over to the grinder and shape them to remove any sharp edges, improve the shape, and make sure that when I bring those back together and assemble them on top of the base, that they fit nicely. And I have, what looks like a really nice professional quality looking application here. So I really take my time here. If I have some extra bumps sticking out of those pieces, I stay a little bit longer with the grinder to ensure they have really smooth shapes, something that looks like a nice rounded lemon. Now I'm going to grind the leaves. Generally, when you're cutting something with a curved shape, you're going to have to do a little bit of grinding to improve the shape and improve the fit with the pieces. When you're cutting straight pieces like strips or borders or like a rectangular background like we're going to do here, sometimes you don't have to grind those, and that's fine. But these I really want to look nice, especially since there's a nice high contrast color, the green versus the blue. I don't want any little funny bumps sticking out or large gaps between the pieces. I want them to fit beautifully together. This project is assembled with a clear piece on the bottom, so that's layer 1. Layer 2 is made up of the colors. So I've got some opal yellow for a border, some nice deep blue for the backdrop that will really make those colors, those lemons, just pop right off the surface. Really love this color combination. Very bright, very high contrast, which I love to use because it really makes the artwork stand out, especially if you're going to use this in a kitchen. A lot of kitchens have a dark countertop, or if you're going to put it on a coffee table or something, a lot of times that furniture is dark, and these bright pops of color will really stand out and look just fabulous wherever you decide to put them in your decor, in your home, on your porch, wherever. I have hairspray in this clear applicator bottle with a tiny little tip to apply the smallest amount possible. So I like to use this on occasion because it dries fast, it burns off without leaving any residue, and because it dries fast, it enables me to continue with the assembly of the project pretty quick and easy. Now I'm going to apply some glue to the back of these green pieces and add the leaves around those lemons. Now I'm purposely leaving a little bit of color between the pieces because that'll outline them, showcase them, and give them a little bit more of a three-dimensional quality on top of that deep blue background. One of the great things about glass fusing is you can assemble your detailed pieces on top of a single background piece. You don't have to cut all around it, which minimizes any of those extraneous cut lines. You get a really clean look. You can tuck these little pieces in and next to each other, get a great fit, and something that looks really polished. So I love that about this particular type of assembly method and this type of glass fabrication. Wow, I'm just really enjoying the way this is coming out, the way the pieces are fitting, and the way that the yellow looks. Yellow and green is just so striking on that blue. Just like a beautiful blue sky or something, I don't know, but often there are pieces that I could just come back to over and over and remake them, and they're just so much fun. This is one of those pieces because it's manageable, nice size. The pieces, the shapes are all easy to cut, easy to put together. They fit beautifully, and you have something that has a really nice recognizable subject matter that's so relatable. Everyone I mean, maybe not everyone, but most people love lemonade or lemons or even just the bright, beautiful colors. And this is a really complementary design for a lot of decor. I centered the lemons in the middle, knowing I was going to add some pizzazz to the outside edge. So here I'm cutting some twisted cane. I'm going to add those for some three-dimensional quality detail on the edge. I'm going to add some little white squares and some pieces of Murini to give me some little polka dot designs. Could you imagine trying to make your own little polka dots? No, just cut some Murini, put it on there, and you get that great design without having all the work. It just works wonderful. And here the hairspray and the applicator tip is working fabulous. You can just drip it on top. It kind of, because it's very thin, it just soaks right down underneath the glass and makes it stick to that base piece. So when you move this to the kiln, nothing shifts. And that's really important with these twisted cane because they definitely want to roll away on you. When you're using glue, use the smallest amount possible. If you can avoid it because it's not the best thing to put on your project. You could potentially create some contamination. It could potentially, flare when you fire and create soot or create some sort of variation to your glass that you don't want. So whenever I'm using glue, I try to use it in moderation and use the smallest amount possible. Here I'm taking this pretty green Murini. I'm go ahead and nip that with some mosaic nippers. And we're going to introduce that color. And I'm just using a variety of colors, kind of like, little rainbow polka dots. I think they're really fun and add a nice pattern detail to the background. Going into this project, I knew I was going to do lemons. I knew the blue and the yellow were going to be my colors with the green. But at this point, I'm just designing on the go, which is really fun when you've spent a bunch of time cutting out a pattern and then cutting out the lemons and fitting them together. It's fun to have some portion of the assembly that is just not so planned. That you're just kind of having fun, becoming one with the material and just enjoying yourself. Now, this is the really fun part. I'm going to take some water clear medium frit and I'm going to go put it on top of the yellow lemons. Why, you're saying to yourself, why are you doing this? Well, when clear is put on top of a color, it melts down in and it dilutes that color. Believe it or not, even though this is going to melt in and be perfectly smooth, it's going to leave a little bit of a pattern that kind of gives an orange peel, lemon peel look to these pieces of glass. It's a really fun, quick, easy, simple technique that adds a lot of visual detail to your work. You should try it. All right, we're going to fire this to a full fuse temperature and oh no, look at this. Disaster. Okay, I know it happens to you. It happens to me, and it's so disappointing. We have these gigantic bubbles in my design. What happened? From my experience, air becomes trapped between the glass and the shelf and creates these bubbles. Why and when it happens is not always clear, but what is clear is that I never like it. So, I never give up. I'm going to make an effort to salvage this piece. I'm going to cut it with the saw and see if I can salvage the area in the middle where the lemons are, the area that has the most detail. So I'm going to put it on this tile saw, this wet tile saw. I'm going to cut it into, I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces and see how I can use this and put it back together to retain some of that material, some of that time and effort and excitement I put into this piece, and see if I can make something that's new. It's disappointing when this happens, but for the most part, I'm able to salvage my pieces, get something out of them, and a lot of times that spurs on a new design in the future. So I always like to say, put your best effort into every step, even when it's something you don't want to do or when something goes wrong. And you are always learning, and all that information that you are gathering and absorbing, you can apply in the future to new projects, either when you have a problem, something doesn't go well, or maybe in the future when you want to design something differently than you've been doing in the past. You want to branch out and expand the type of projects that you make. Okay, so this isn't what I intended. It's different, but it's still pretty cool. I think we can use that. Now all this detail on the side, all those little squares, gosh, I want to try to use those. I don't want to just throw those in the garbage. So let's see what we can do here and just cut this up and see how we can salvage all these pieces to make something that I can get excited about again. I'm using inexpensive tile saw here that's readily available at your, home improvement store. So if you don't have one of these, it's real handy because it does open up opportunities for you to do different projects and to do something like this where something unexpected needs to be readdressed, manufactured to make it something that's usable. And at first, it's a little intimidating to use these saws, but when you realize they're just grinding the glass, not really cutting it. And, we're working with sharp materials and with equipment all the time. So if you just practice with a couple of scrap pieces, it's really easy to get a really good comfort level with this type of equipment. And again, open up new opportunities for you to expand the type of work you're doing. I managed to save some pieces, and then we're going to trash some pieces, but that's okay. There's some satisfaction in that as well. Now I went ahead and made a new version of the rectangular one and firing them together, and look at this awesome combination of pieces I have now. Now this seems to be a little busier, a little more ornate than it was before, but I like it. And this one, I didn't put quite as much detail on the background or the edges, but I like it as well. And I learned a new design technique, a new way to put something together and get a new and exciting project and another piece. How awesome is that? Now I'm going to take this rectangular one, place it on a mold, going to put it inside the kiln here, and we're going to fire this to the slumping temperature. And here it is coming out of the kiln with this beautiful contour and shape that gives it lift and makes it very graceful. Something that's just going to be, oh my gosh, such a showpiece. Look at that. And look at the detail there on those lemons. Isn't that awesome? Love it. I did go back and make that original design with an orange color border, and I really like that too. So every opportunity, even when things go wrong, is an opportunity to learn and expand your artistic style. If you'd like more instruction how to make this lemon tray and the others in the series, you'll find this pattern and all the others in my Artful Home video, available on my website. This tray is so fun to make, and as you can see from the images, I can make it in a variety of different sizes, variety of different styles, variety of different color backgrounds. So really get this awesome collection, this series of pieces that you can use all over your kitchen. In your living room, you can give them as gifts, you can use them on your porch, you can use them any old place you like. But it's just so sweet and tangy. We just love these pieces, love the color, the brightness, that little addition of the clear frit on top of the yellow. Cool trick, right? To give it a visual texture, but it doesn't have a texture, it gives it a little bit of a pattern, takes a plain glass and makes it a lot more interesting. So you can use that little tip and technique on other pieces. Also the twisted cane, always fun to work with that because it adds a lot of vitality, pattern, texture, three-dimensional quality to your work. So that's always fun to work with. The Murini, that's very fun too because we got these beautiful colors and then we have that delicate little pattern inside that makes your pieces really special. So I hope you start using some of these materials in some of your upcoming projects. And we're gonna have one of these lemon tray patterns up on the website so you can check that out and get your free pattern there. Hey, if you like this video, subscribe, follow, share, comment. We love your remarks and your comments. It really helps us feel good to know that we are inspiring you to get out in your studio and do some work, or you have questions about things, and we're happy to answer those. So please comment. But of course, like, follow, and subscribe too, and share. We love it when you share because sharing is caring, Also, become a premium video member. We'd love to have you. We have new courses coming out all the time. The courses are full-length individual projects with step-by-step video instruction, printable pattern ebook with color images, firing guides, material lists, everything you need to be successful with those projects. And we've got a variety of different techniques and advanced type projects that you can learn, and all that information right there at your fingertips as soon as you join the membership. So please consider joining. And until next time, happy fusing!